Hey everybody, I've got another knife review for you guys today. Unfortunately it's not going to be in HD because I don't have access to that high definition camera, but hopefully this will suffice. This isn't a Swiss Army knife review, unfortunately. However, it is a really cool knife, one that I saw on many channels and decided to, branch out from my normal knife purchases. Now, normally I'm a fan of smaller, utilitarian, day-to-day carry knives, but like any knife collector, I like a big knife, especially a big Bowie knife, and that's what this is. The Cold Steel 12-inch Bowie Machete. It's not really a it's a cross between a machete and a really big knife, which I know sounds the same thing, but normally machetes are like 18 inches or even more. This is 12 inches, but it's a lot bigger than a lot of other survival knives. In other words, it's just an excuse to get a really big survival knife. For cheap too. I paid 35 Canadian for this shipped to my door. And the cost of these will be rising probably due to the fact that they are out of production. So, let's go through the review. First things first. Presentation. It's clean, it looks nice, nothing fancy. The sheath is Cordura. It's been pinned, so it's a solid feel. It's got a standard belt snap. Nothing fancy, but gets the job done. The belt loop is just a standard belt loop, but it's nice and stiff, so it won't flop around too much, I guess. It's a clean, simple sheath. It's got these little plastic things here for more decorative. It won't do much protection. The sheath has been lined in the side so that the knife isn't going to contact either the rivets or the actual sheath itself. I'm going to just remove the knife. You can see the knife in a second. Unlike some other machete sheaths, it's actually stiff. It's got some sort of form to it, which is something I like because I saw the cookery machete. It's just a floppy thing right there, and as good as a knife may be, I'm really not into those kind of sheaths. But now, of course, the sheath is really side stuff. The real deal is this bad boy right here. Isn't she a beauty? Big, big knife. As you can tell, I've changed the edge that came with it. Well, what they do is essentially they put a basic utility edge, and then after they do that, they put on the paint, well, the coating, and they bake it. So they cover up the entire edge. So what I did was I took whatever sandpaper I had in my house, 150 and 220 grit. Took the 150, removed the paint off of the main edge down here and up top. Did the exact same thing with the 220 to get whatever's left off and give it a bit more of a polish. I would have liked to go higher on the sandpaper, but I made do with what I had. And I then took a simple Arkansas stone. Now, this was a bit of a difficult job because the Arkansas stone I have is meant primarily for small knives. So pretty much anything over 5 inches becomes cumbersome. So imagine trying to do a 12-incher on that. So I did it on the coarse and the fine stone. Took me a while, and I've been able to get a decent edge on it. It's not perfect, and I also did finish off with my stop. It's not perfect, actually it's far from it, to be honest, but you know what? Let me just get out some paper. For the intended purpose, it'll suffice. I mean, for those really curious. It's not great, but it's got a pretty decent edge. The cut, it's be hard to see. It's a little bit, it's alright. I mean, actually, I think I did a little better than I thought I would, but, I mean, it's far from hair shaving sharp. Overall, the knife is nice. It's large. It's got a really cool sweep to it, like all Bowie knives. Well designed, made in China. Yes, that is a coat of oil on there. Not prevented from rusting. China, cold steel. The handle is made of polypropylene. It's a rubbery form of plastic, different from the cookie machete which I held, which was a lot more plasticky. A lot of people have noticed this. This provides a really nice ample grip, and it doesn't feel like it's going to slip from your hand, especially if you're wearing gloves. Blade stock 3 millimeters. I was actually expecting this to be a little bit lighter, and people were like, it's thin, but it's got no flex to it pretty much. It's a sturdy piece of steel, giving the thickness. It's definitely a lot thicker than my Bark River knife and tool, Fox River Hunter, but it's still pretty sturdy, and from what I've been seeing on YouTube, it plays out like that when you use it. And just a note, I have not actually sharpened the top false edge. I actually just removed the paint. One, I didn't want to spend the time because this was already cumbersome enough to get the main edge. I don't want to do the same for the top. And in case I do use it for survival, or batoning, not so much survival, but just for batoning or chopping, I'm not really going to use this for fighting. And I'll just end up dulling the top edge anyway, so why go through all the effort? I just removed the paint so it looks more badass. That's really the main reason. This knife just looks badass. I mean, you pull this out and it'll scare the shit out of anyone. It's a really cool knife. Yeah, I'm terrible with all the twirls. I'm not very good at it, but it's just, you can't help but try. Feels so right in the hand. Well balanced. Balance point is, say, about a couple inches in the blade. So it's, compared to the Latin machete, the Latin machete is much more heavy in the front of the blade. This is more balanced. Like Nothing Fancy said, who actually was the video that convinced me to get one of these, it's a good mix between a survival and a fighting knife. So overall, it's a great knife if you're looking for a good excuse to get a cheap, large Bowie knife. This is a great option without having to go and blow a lot of cash on some of either some other brands or even Cold Steel's brands. That Notch as Bowie is not college student price friendly. Let's just say that. Costs more than all my textbooks per semester combined. So I think I'll just stick with the $35 one. It gives me the same satisfaction that I've got a big knife, and it leaves my wallet a lot heavier, which I like. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for the change in camera, but I just couldn't wait to get the other camera back. I had to show this knife to everyone. Please rate, comment, subscribe, all the usual. Peace out, guys.